Hello YouTube and welcome to today's episode of the Shredding Skeptic. Today we're going to be taking a quick look at the Lykan Hypersport, the world's most expensive car. This thing clocks in at about $1 million more than the Bugatti Veyron Supersport, the world's fastest car. This car was touted as the bonus release, and I guess they were throwing it in there for all the delays in getting project cars released, but let me tell you, it was well worth the wait. This car did take a bit of getting used to, but I found that once I had adjusted my driving position, things tended to work out a little bit better. So on the top, we're again taking a look at that interior view. I really love the detail that Project Cars has put into the, the bump mapping, I suppose, around the trim around the outside. It really has a lot of great detail there, and the holographic heads-up display is something to behold for sure. This car was apparently also featured in the new Fast and the Furious movie, which unfortunately I'm guilty of not seeing yet, but I'm sure once I see it there it will look familiar, knowing now how it handles. So if you haven't had a chance yet, I would definitely recommend you hop on Steam and pick up Project Cars. This game is fantastic. But while you're waiting, let's take a quick look through some of the stats of this car so that you know what Project Cars has in store. So according to the spec sheet from the manufacturer, it comes in a coupe only. It has a carbon composite body, unique styling, and an exclusive exterior paint scheme. Which, yeah, I guess looking at it now, that the light blue is rather unusual, but definitely quite striking when combined with that red. Now for the interesting stuff, what this thing has under the hood. This is a 6-cylinder boxer-type engine, displacement about 3.7 liters, and it has a twin turbocharger with independent intercoolers. So this engine is mounted amidship, with a rear-wheel drive, and it has a fully catalyzed stainless steel exhaust system with active bypass valves. The engine produces peak horsepower around 7,100 RPMs and clocks in at about 770 horsepower, and it also produces a max torque of about 960 newton meters at about 4,000 RPM. So that's going to give this thing an acceleration 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in about 2.8 seconds, and a maximum 0 to 200 acceleration time of about 9.4 seconds. This thing has a clocked speed at the very top end of about 385 kilometers an hour, but again, that's going to depend on the gear ratios that you're going to choose for the 7-speed double-clutch gearbox. I like the idea of a 7-speed gearbox if you're going to have a car that you really want to put on a spec sheet saying this thing can almost reach, astronomical speeds, but again, I found even on the Nurburgring straight, the 7th gear didn't really help me, and I found that on this track, if a car has its 7th gear, that's usually the best place to test it. This car just wasn't really able to get quite up there. I imagine if it was on a much longer road, might be able to get it up to that speed, but for practicality's sake, I don't really think that the additional weight of having a double-clutch gearbox is really going to be worth the benefit if you're adding about 100 kilograms in order to simply shift faster. So let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? Do you think having a heavier but double-clutched gearbox is going to be worth it for you in the end? Moving down to the wheels, we also have a limited slip differential that's transversely rear mounted. Our front axle has a McPherson strut anti-roll bar, and on the back we have a multi-link suspension, horizontal coil cover, shock absorbers, and anti-roll bars as well. All of these suspension tweaks combine to create a car that's so stable in the corners, it's able to handle a lateral G-load of between 1 and 2. Most cars are going to start sliding after they cross that 1G threshold, but this thing was able to push 2, 2.5, and it was all very controllable once you did start to slide. So all the suspension tweaks and engine power in the world are not going to do you a lot of good if you can't slow down for the corners. Fortunately, the brakes on the Lykan Hypersport are huge. These things come equipped with 15-inch brake discs, totally ceramic 6-piston aluminum monoblock calipers, fully ventilated. So with all the basic racing necessities out of the way, let's take a quick look at some of the more luxury features that the Lykan Hypersport comes equipped with. The carbon fiber center console finish, again, always something you want to have if you're going to be paying almost $4 million for a car. Well, we'll get into why the price is that high a little later on. There is going to be a dual-stage driver and passenger front airbags. Obviously, that sounds like a good idea of the kind of speeds this thing's going to travel at. You got your electric heated mirrors, you have your heated rear screen, let's see, an automated temperature control, trip computer, those have been around for a while. Oh, Bluetooth navigation, satellite, camera, arm. Ooh, a 3D Oh, 3G, sorry, 3G internet router, so I guess this thing comes fully internet equipped. So I guess while you're peeling through these corners, you can post it to Facebook as well. What else we got here? Remote control center door locking and boot release. Sounds good. Sounds like that might have some potential for some smartphone integration. What else we got here? 3D... Nope. LED, sorry. Ambient lighting. 9-inch holographic mid-air display with an interactive motion. Yeah, that's that nice display that you can see on the top screen there. Looks like it's got some gesture recognition, so I guess if the buttons aren't quite doing it for you, you can, just flip the car the bird and it'll switch the radio station or something for you. So what else do we got here? We got a customizable digital dashboard, we have premium sound system, an integrated hard drive and an MP3 media player. So this thing seems like it comes fully equipped with absolutely everything you need, including numerous options for the kind of gemstones you want to have embedded in your headlights. So some of you may also recognize the racetrack here today. This is Nurburgring. And I'll bring over the Scottish Skeptic and I'll have him tell you a little bit about it.
Hi, thank you. Today we are over here at Nurburgring. Jackie Stewart and I used to race around this back in the late 1960s, and one day, on a rather rainy day in 1969, I had described it to him as the Green Hill. And apparently he went on to tell that to the media, and he's been known as saying it ever since. Anyway, I digress. We completed this track record in 1927, and it's been in operation ever since, other than a brief period during World War II where it was out of commission. Now, this track has undergone a number of changes over the years due to safety concerns, and some would say it's a mere shadow of its former self. I've been driving this particular track for a number of decades now, and I found the bumps and jumps to be rather exciting. But seeing as I gain no hide nor hair for life or limb, it's no big concern of mine. For those mortal drivers out there who are thinking about taking on this track, beware there are a number of hazards you're going to have to watch out for, including a number of ambulances that are daily on this track, pulling people out who are taking the corners too quickly. Some, including my arch nemesis Jeremy Clarkson, have speculated over 200 fatalities over the years on this track. And Jackie Stewart would often tell me that every time he'd run this track, he'd always make a mistake. He could never do a clean lap of the Nurburgring. So, people of the internet, what are your thoughts? What's the best time you've put up on the Nurburgring? And what car did you do it in?
Well, that sounds like a great question to pose to the audience, Scotty. What is the best time you guys have put up on the Nurburgring, and what was the vehicle you chose to do it in? And while we're on the subject, Scotty, what is the best time you put up on the Nurburgring?
Who?
You. What is the best time you put up on the Nurburgring?
Oh, right. What's the time you did this one in?
About 8 minutes 4?
Oh, right. Let's say a minute faster than that.
Wait, so you're telling me you put up like a 7-minute lap time in one of these decades that you happen to be in the Nurburgring?
That's right. It was using one of those old F1 cars, none of this new shite you got today. With your Bluetooth and your bloody heated seats.
Right, well, would you care to demonstrate that claim? Because while I appreciate the history lesson, I am skeptical about some of those other anecdotal claims you happen to make.
Aye, nae probs.
Fine, next episode you're going to do it. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Shredding Skeptic, everyone.